We'd like to thank today's sponsor, Suzuka Malaysia, for their support of this event. And we'd like to invite our sponsor representative, Ms. Lim Ying Pin, Project Marketing and Specification Assistant Manager, to have the introduction of the product. Please welcome Ms. Lim Ying Pin.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to see you here tonight. So without further ado, let's start with the introductions. So I'm Yin Ping from Suzuka. So we are actually the wall finishers professionals in the industry. So actually, Suzuka has been established in Malaysia since 1977 in Taiwan, but we moved the HQ over to Malaysia since 1997. So boss also moved here and live here already. Okay. So actually, the Taiwan facilities still remain, but now the worldwide HQ is based in Malaysia. So we are the local manufacturer, but we established another manufacturing plant in Thailand since 2016. So it's 10 years back. Okay. So we also actively export to the US continent. Okay. So for the ISO certification, no worries. Actually, we are equipped with 45,000, 9,000, as well as the 14,000. So we are also equipped with the CIRIM Eco-Label certifications, Singapore Green Labels, as well as the US LEDD. Okay. So for this is actually the DIN 4102 test for our orchestra panel. It's a DIN Denmark standards. So for the showrooms, we have actually 2 showrooms in under the Suzuka HQ governance. Which one is the Klang one? Sorry. The first one will be our HQ office, the manufacturing plant, and also the showroom is in Klang, Setia Alam. Okay. So another one is in the Mong Kiara, Wisma YNH. Okay. So the other showrooms are actually under our cooperation with the dealers and also the distributors. Okay. So we have worked along with the developers like the Steer, Saimnabi Eco Worlds. Okay. And we are also working along with some retails, maybe some hotels like JW Marriott and some maybe Agodas and the car brands also. So we have also worked along with the FMB, okay, so like Coffee Beans, Starbucks, yeah. Recently, Zeus also quite using a lot of our products, okay. I need to take this up. It's quite hard. Okay, that's better. So for government projects, actually we are more focusing on the Putrajaya. Okay, so they use a lot of our spray granites over there. Okay. So for product-wise, we are focusing on 3 main. One is the coatings, another wall panel, and also brick and stone veneers. Okay. So for wall finishes, you can always choose between these selections. For the coatings, we have the series and solution for interior as well as the exterior. Okay. So maybe we just go through a quick one. For exterior, we have this cement texture for the exterior. In the market, I think only we have the series, this solution for the exterior. Yeah, so it's basically mimicking the cement texture. Okay, so it's low in VOC and it's water-based paint. Okay, so it's also applicable for the ceiling. Meaning if you have any like semi-outdoor area, you can use this solution for the wall up until your ceiling. Yeah. Okay. So another one is the texture coating. So this is quite common in the market. They sometimes so-called the spray granite. So we have this one also having the green labels certifications. So no worries. So basically it has 3 different texture, meaning the 3 different roughness. So for the first one is the magic granite. So that one is the roughest amongst all. But only this series, we have the gold mica. Why only this series? Because the particles are big enough, and our gold mica is almost mimicking their black dots. Yeah, if I put the gold mica in the another 2 series, it will look odd. Yeah. So the stony coat is the middle roughness, and the ceramic coat will be the sandiest version. So these all are actually for exterior. Can it be used for interior? My advice is better not, because it's quite rough. But if you would like to use interior, maybe up above the head portion, or something like features wall that you have something in front that can block. Yeah, this is for safety issue. Yeah, else you choose the finest one, the ceramic coat. Okay, so it can be used on the concrete, wood, mortar, masonry, gypsum, plasterboard, everything, except metal. So for metal, if you would like to use, the only solution, the only one that we can allow at the moment is the stainless steel, 304 or 316. However, please let us know earlier, because we might need to change their primer into the solvent base. Yeah. So it's quite resistant to the stains. Okay, so quite easy to wash. Just use the low pressure water jet will do. Okay, so if anyone like very afraid of the lizard, sometimes, yeah, because some architects still prefer to use this range because this can prevent chicha. Yeah, this is what they feedback to me lah. Okay. Okay. So this is using the spray method, meaning at the curved area it won't be an issue. Okay. However, this is actually a 3 mm at most, also 3 mm thickness. So if you would like to have a very deep groove line or any like recess, please build the structure yourself, and then we will just spray accordingly. Yeah. So the one that groove line actually is created by their own partitions. Yeah. So we just spray accordingly. Okay. So this is also just 3 mm, right? So meaning it will follow exactly your substrate. So as the images at the left, so their existing surface is actually a protruded tiles. So after we checking their surface, everything good, no hollowness. So in order to save their cost and their time, so we just spray on top. And then it becomes like a very features of their own. Yeah, this is not design. This is by their surface. Okay. So if you would like to have another types of design, so something like stencil or brick types, actually we can create a groove line designs also. Yeah, for just following your intervals, your design. Okay. So this is actually they do in the Putrajaya and the Istana. So actually we could also customize your color. Okay, Istana, this is their own colors. Okay. Okay, so just now that one is the rough by natural stone and minerals, will be a little bit rough. So if you're looking for a more smoother texture, that mimicking a granite, this is actually another solution for you. So we so-called the granite effect, coating granulite. Okay, so this is actually how it applies. Okay, so by default, our system will be 2 layers of primer, 2 layers of texture, and 1 layer of top coat. So when you receive any quotations from the suppliers or from the main cons, please ensure they are really following the system. Else you can actually get the BQ or you so-called the specification description from me. Yeah, okay? Okay, so compared to the granite, this is actually more lighter, okay? So it's also quicker because it's just spray, okay? So if you have any granite that you would like us to match accordingly, yes, please borrow us your piece of granite. We can actually match it. Yeah. Okay. So this is somehow with some elasticity in the coating, meaning if your substrate having some hairline cracks, it somehow can still heal up lah. Okay. So it's also washable and also quite easy to maintain. It's resistant to stain and fungus. Okay. So it's also spraying methods. Okay, so for another solution, this is the special effect coating, we so-called the Moderna. So every single pattern will be created with different tools. So it's also a green solutions. Okay, so yeah, for like these types of texture is actually created by the wood trowel and also the stainless steel trowel. Yeah, and then these types of texture is created by the trowel and the brush, the combination. Okay, this is by the roller, and this is somehow with spray and also the trowel. The travertine types are quite common, and they are, yeah, this is quite the hot cell texture, I can say. So every color you see here is available with every texture. So their only difference is the texture, the tools they are using. So if you would like to customize your own color, can it be done? Yes, it can be done. You just give us the piece of the color, actual color that you need. So we just match here. Since we are the local manufacturer, it's quite fast one. Okay? So this is the comb trowel type. But if you are really proposing this type, we might need to manage your expectation, because it is somehow human workmanship. So it might have the overlapping things happen, or the imperfections happen. Okay, so this is how they do it. So for the image at the left there, you see is a little bit like fluted, right? It's a curve fluted, but actually that is the surface that prepared by the client. We just spray on top. Yeah, this is not created by us. Okay. So it's quite fun to play around with different texture to apply different area and what is your desired design. Yeah. Okay. So you might also, this is the moon shape. It's quite common in the Japanese restaurant nowadays, and also some spa. Yeah. Okay, so this is the comb trowel types and the lines type. Okay, this is another solution we so-called the ECS, the exposed concrete effect system. So this is not panel. This is in situ coating types. So we actually having 3 patterns. The most hot sell is the precast pattern. So why do we have this? So in compared to the raw concrete precast, what's the advantage? So maybe raw concrete have the issue of the efflorescence. So how do we counter that? We actually add in the alkaline resistant primer inside to avoid that efflorescence issue. Okay. So we need to build up the body of the coating is around like 4 to 5 mm before the texture. Okay. So to create the pattern, so we actually the groove line is created with the foam tape. The foam tape is normally like 10 mm width, yeah, and with 4 to 5 mm thick. So the thickness at most also 5 mm, yeah, okay. So it's quite flexible, because when you do it on site, sometimes you might want 1 meter one lines, or 3 meter one lines, or 2.5 meter one lines. If you are using the panel, sometimes they're already like having the pre-made, already prefixed. But this one is flexible, very flexible on site. Yeah. And then the button, or we so-call the circle shapes, actually you can also control how far you want it away from the groove line, or you directly don't want it, also can. Yeah, no problem. Okay. So, meaning, okay, so for some odd shape like this, if you're using a panel, the wastage might be high. Yeah, but this is coating, so we can adjust accordingly. Yeah, and also when it's at the very corner, if using the panel type, you will see a 90-degree corner termination, right? Yeah, but so using the coating, you won't have this issue. You just follow according to your wall. Okay. Yeah, the second is the pitted effect pattern. So this is only come with one cementitious color. Okay, it's like a hole on a wall. Okay, and the third one is the timber pattern. So this we created with the silicone stamp. So after we build up the body, we just stamp on it. So because it's with silicone, so it can be using at the curved area also. Okay. You can actually paint on top afterwards if you want it to be other colors. Yeah. Okay, so this is the very conventional that some people might not aware. Actually, Suzuka do also have spray tiles. Yeah, but we only supply for the white colors. So we have jumbo standard and also the head cut types. Both we have small, medium, and large size. It just depends on the nozzle size. Okay, so maybe afterwards you can paint the emulsion paint on top lah. Yeah. So that's all for the exterior. Now we move into the Strato series, which is the interior texture paint. So as long as you see Strato, it means the interior paint, and it can be used for interior wall up to ceiling. Yeah, okay. So it's also low VOC solutions and water-based acrylic paint. So we have quite a lot of range and different texture. Maybe you can have a real touch on it in front of the booth later on. Yeah, I just quickly run through. So this is somehow a little bit matte, and we are mimicking the travertine texture. Okay, we have also cement texture. This is more to grayish tone. And for cement texture with colorful or dopamine tones, we actually call it veloce. Okay, so this is how they are different. So they are also different in the patterns with using different tools. By default, it will be with trowel. But if you are looking for a more busy pattern or texture, you can actually use the piccolo. But normally, people will only choose piccolo pattern when it's very light tone. Yeah, because if you are in very dark tone and you still create this very busy pattern, your interior will look like there's no focus. Because normally you would like to shouting out your furniture, right? It's not the wall things. Yeah, so it really depends how you want the outcome to be lah. Okay. So we have the metallic, a little bit metallic. It's not very metallic type, a sparkle, just a little bit. You can choose actually Aurora or the satin. Yeah. Okay, so we do also have a very matte, and you have a little bit touchy feel. It's called a linen. Okay. And then we have a very metallic solution, we so-called the merino. This is with something rough, and this is with a flat type metallic. Then for organza, by default it will be piccolo because it's too flat. If we don't do piccolo, you won't see any effect. Unless some people were really looking for very subtle pattern, so they are will go to the trowel. Okay. So this is the cashmere, also metallic, and this is the taffeta, just mimicking the water reflection pattern. So this is the line paint, the breathable paint. So normally we only advise to use at the heritage building. Yeah, because it's too subtle. Sometimes you cannot see the patterns. Okay, so maybe I show you some of the video how it actually applied. So by default, it's 2 layers of the primer lah. So 2 layers of the texture as well. And then we end with the top coat. So this is the solution with the, sorry. Never mind, maybe you just skip that because we have solution that is with top coat or without top coat. Yeah, maybe you have a look at the outside there, maybe later. So we do also have the wall panel like the PU stone. So have a different types of texture. So this is one of it. It's super lightweight. So in our showroom, actually 2 girls just installed it. Whoa. actually play around with a random, or you want to stack it up. Okay. So it's also a fire retardant rating of B1 within standard. Okay. So you can actually create a seamless pattern also for some profile. Okay. So this is paintable profile, meaning if you don't like of our provided colors, actually you can buy the white colors one and paint your own. Maybe you want to paint it pink color, yellow color also can. Okay, but we have 6 colors lah. Okay, so for the top one is like mimicking the stones. You can actually mix match the profile, and for the underneath one, this one is also more like the footed types. Okay, so you can have the standard one or the seamless one. Okay. So this is how it looks like for the seamless. So mix and match, different profile. Okay, so we do also having the brick veneers. I won't go through all, just selected. Okay, so for our brick veneers, normally we'll the hot sell is the BK31 lah. Okay, so we normally sell the flat types, but at the corner we always advise to have the corner brick instead, because we cannot expect main con could have. The contractor sometimes they don't know how to install. They can have very odd of the terminations lah. Okay. So this is how the BK31 looks like. Okay. So for the cast on air, this is actually cater for the curve area. So last time before we having the curve or bendable profile, we actually created by cutting segment cut, right? Yeah, it won't be nice lah. So we just purposely created this profile for the curve area. Okay, and then this is for the interior partition wall. If you have interior wall that is with brick structure, still go back to the BK31. This is only for partition wall because it's thin enough to hold it. Yeah. Okay, so for stone veneers, we do also having the green labels. Okay, so just go through this one. It is with random shape. So if contractors are only buying and they install themselves, like some towelers, make sure they dry lay once for you first before they put on, because we encounter some cases they actually put all the big one at the top and the small one at the corner. Yeah, this is somehow not the accurate one. Yeah, to prevent that, make sure they dry lay once for you first. Okay. So we do have the other stone veneers as well. Maybe you can have a check in our website. Okay, so these are the random one with the corners. Okay, we do have the garden pavement stone as well. We just put on top on the greens. Yeah, we have different profiles. Okay. So this is the last, the cast stone edge. Play around with the geometry. Okay, if you place it like a diamond shape or diagonal or the straight one, it will create different effect, especially exterior, because we play around with the sunlight. Okay. So this is the feather light, the small feather, a big feather, horizontal or vertical, it depends on you. Okay. So this is the floated type. Yeah, this is not floated panel, it's actually made up of clay, cement and sand. So it somehow have some weight. Please don't put it on partition wall. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's all for my introduction. So you can actually reach me. I'm Yin Bin, or you can actually reach Jasmine outside. Yep. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Yin Bin. Okay, without further delay, please welcome Architect Nguyen Hoang Manh, our speaker of the day. Architect Nguyen Hoang Manh, a Master of Architecture graduate from KU Leuven in Belgium, is the visionary founder and principal architect of MIA Design Studio. With over 28 years of experience, he embodies exceptional design expertise and leadership. Renowned for his commitment to sustainable and minimalist design, Mr. Manh focuses on integrating natural elements to create harmonious spaces that foster a deep connection between people and nature. He consistently emphasizes the use of local materials and cultural influences, reflecting his respect for Vietnam's rich architectural heritage, while ensuring his projects remain environmentally responsible and contextually relevant. By blending modern architectural techniques with traditional elements, he has crafted innovative, timeless structures that fulfill both aesthetics and functional needs. Under his leadership, MIA Design Studio has gained international recognition, winning numerous prestigious awards, particularly in sustainable architecture. The studio's projects are often praised for their minimalist elegance, use of open spaces, and the ability to contextualize sensitive architecture. Mr. Mann's work, characterized by its simplicity and strong contextual sensitivity, serves as a model for contemporary sustainable design and continues to inspire the next generation of architects. Without further ado, please welcome architect Nguyen Hoang Manh.
Good evening, everybody. How are you? So, thank you very much for PAM's host invite me. My pleasure to be here to talk to you. And so, what I going to tell you today is the title of as an architect. I'm not urban planner. So I cannot influence the big impact like an urban planner, but I do my studio do as a small project, but every small pieces. So we try to influence to inspire to the social and the young architecture by so what I call architecture can be healing the city with the small pieces. So let's start. By the way, who liked the football tonight? I'm coming from Vietnam to KL, and then your team, football team, to Hanoi. So Vietnam is a tropical country, same as yours, and India and Thailand, very similar. So we talking about like how the country we had very long from north to south, and left to right very thin the country, and about on the left side is the west. It's 2/3 of the mountain for entire country. And then all settlement development is along the coastline of the country. So we have 3,000, more than 3,000 kilometer coastline on the right side. And then this is in my city, Ho Chi Minh City. Today it became a very big city. They, how to call it, they unify by two different cities. So Ho Chi Minh City already big. Now they make the join to another city. So from one to another part of the city could take about 6 hours. So you can imagine. Plus traffic jam. So, so the city population is about 15 million inhabitants. Yeah. And I heard in KL you have 4. So our city 3 times bigger than KL in terms of population. So this is, you see, Vietnam is Ho Chi Minh City, in particular, one of the biggest city, economic city in Vietnam. Yeah, it's grow very fast, urbanized, so a lot of demand and here and there. So it's come to the point like we had low rise, high density. So totally lack of open space, and you see how the city grow. And if you compare with Singapore, Tokyo, Seoul, and Bangkok, so now I would say the time for Vietnam to grow. However, so this is one part of our city. And you see how dense, and we lacked of open space. And the people use open space can be in the alleys. On the right hand side, you see in the peak hour how the traffic jam to the city. So a lot of pressure in terms of environmental, health, and then many other things. So therefore, take it all this consideration into account. As an architect, what can we do? And how can we give our own solution by our architecture solution? So we try to propose in our project. I give you some of experiment of Mir Design Studio. So this is what we call sky house. So within the context, you see the high rise of Capolan all surrounding, and then the house is nearly in the jungle of concrete. And what solution of an architect is to design the house, taking half of the space for physical living, and the other half is for looking. So the urban house we design like an inward design instead of looking out. So that's why we call the sky house. Look up to the sky only, not look around. And then we build like a transition space for between inside and outside, and kind like a light filter. And then with the plant and trees, it's a transition to cool down the house. And also, it's very interesting part. From inside, you look out, and you look through the landscape, but still feeling in the house. And so for certain the space, you feel with yourself in touch with nature. So the house is breathing during the different time in the day. So by sunrise and sunset throughout, so the shadow play very interesting part through the natural element, reflected to the white spots. And then not only horizontal connection, but also you see it's a vertical connection. So between the human with nature, and the human and the human in the family members. So this is what we call, when you have nothing to look outside, so this is a solution to build for your own landscape, your own nature, to be happy with the architecture. So that everything else for us, we do it very simple. we do in proportion, volume, instead of decoration architecture. But somehow, natural element, natural light, plant and trees and water, it's a main part we like to show with our architecture. Seksan, the sofa, I learned from him. So, Seksan, where's Seksan? Okay, I taught you twice. Eh? So this is, yeah, I see this sofa, very nice, because I don't want to show the space, the furniture. I want the furniture very light, not busy. So I search and I see, so I see his sofa. So I like to copy. So this is how at night, so when you open the door, so the house is feeling of the space from the fence to the fence, not from the wall to the wall. So very light feeling, integrate nature into the living space. And this one of the spa we did, what we call like nature is taking over architecture. Instead of we make the architecture dominant the nature, but we try to do it the other way around. And nature became a part of architecture. And we use double skin building, double layers of landscape. And we try to celebrate the landscape as a part of architecture, and no boundary between inside and outside. And you see, this is actually the inside, the spa, but you still feel this is outside. Also, this is the inside of the spa, but upper floor for spa treatment room. So what I did, I made the Lee Kuan Yew hanging plant, and that's it, what we call architecture. And then I did 7 hectares, all entire second home, sale and leaseback concept. So we did the master plan, architecture, interior, and landscape. All the villas, single story, and then the clubhouse in bridge. And what we call, when we came to this and we talked to our client, so when you do take the footprint, amount of the footprint of the land, you build it, you sell it to the people. And can I ask you something? So amount you take, you build the project, can you give back to nature at the same amount of the landscape? So that we succeed to convince our client and to give back what they already taken. At the same time, so after finish the project, look like a park. And we don't see any architecture, and every corners of the properties is hidden by landscape. But I use very simple landscape. I don't use expensive one. Landscape can be green, can be decorated, but here I use the local, which is easy for maintenance and cheap to invest. So this hanging plant or all the landscape become a part of architecture functional. That's the curtain, sun shading, and keep going one after the other projects. And then the same thing for simple clubhouse, where we also have everywhere, like you guys also doing. It's a central courtyard, very simple form and blocks. And then we try to have the light filters and also have like natural ventilation by the brick. And I do from bottom to up, depending on the function. So on the ground will be more hollow. And then the same formula, same pattern, apply more solid when you go up because of the spa and other function. And the rooftop, it's outdoor sitting. So materials, it's very like the way how we use, like you feeling of Vietnam village, very easy look, but it has been transformed in the modern way. So that you see between, again, inside and outside. So this project is what we call the park. We had inquiry to do a big development for residential project. And then this is a community clubhouse for residential. So where you have the spa, children playground, coffee, restaurant, and so on. So this, what instead of like we do one big long solid blocks, so our solution is we subdivide it in a small different blocks, and we orient it in organic way, and which is try to have the in contact with the sensitive agriculture landscape. So that is above part. So then the architecture in the contact with the current landscape. So it's become, yeah, like the park. It's the new park. And when you walk on the street, actually, you won't see the heavy concrete architecture. So we are very happy and to convince our client, which is not easy in Vietnam, to talk about the way how the architect in harmony with nature. So when you walk on the street, you feel this is not really architecture. So this is part of the landscape. So and the back, this is your backside. So actually afternoon sun, also we can't use it. And then we still had some small hole in between and create a natural ventilation. But the main function is in the front, in front of the lake. And this, the same principle, we just finished right now, in few months ago. So what we call, again, another clubhouse for residential areas, what we call the Lotus. So this project is, client asked for like, can you build the project floating on the water, a feeling of floating. So in these areas, it's well known for lotus pond, yeah? And then what in our solution is we create the lotus leaf, big and small, low and high, and then create the gap in between. So the architecture becomes soft and allow for natural ventilation and natural light to come in. So this every single how to call it, lotus leaf, it became like a one planter box. So where you have above the roof and catching the rain, waters, and create very simple form of interior by structure itself. So that, yeah, it has been built. And from the distance, we feel that very happy for ourselves. The architecture is disappeared, and we won't see the architecture. So, which means architecture became a part of the landscape instead of dominant the landscape. So, yeah. Otherwise, interiors, everything, we keep the structure itself, the way how it could be. And then very simple table and chairs, and feeling of outdoor instead of indoor. So by having canopy low and high, big and small, create the picture frame where you can orient it outside looking. So that's our journey so far, and we keep going for ourselves to somehow architect small piece can make the big statement for the influence for society. That's how we hope. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. Now we would like to invite architect Nguyen Hoang Manh to the stage for Q&A. Sorry, I think this is today everyone has an early day off, early night off then. Okay, maybe we will project the scan code Q&A. Then you can ask him questions that you want.
Test.
Okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. Short and sweet, right, everyone? Okay, maybe I've seen the first question. Your work has reflected a consistent approach, whether it's integrating nature into your work. And how do you begin your design process? And maybe you can tell us a bit of tips on how you convince your clients to integrate so much green into the space.
Thank you very much for your question. So you know, when I more than 10 years ago, I start with the spa project with my another company, Võ Trọng Nghĩa. You might know, he's a bamboo guy. So we did the same project together. So client asked us to do 40 villas and the spa, and asked him to do the restaurant and also another component for resort. And then yes, so we sit down together and we work, and then this client happy to provide, ready to listen to the architect. So the spa we did accidentally, he's built according to our idea, which is not so easy. And then it's got people to know, and then start the people calling us, and then we keep going and improving until today.
Interesting. Okay, the next one is how much does your project change from the conception to the completion? Or are you always like in full control since the design stage?
As an architect, you only do project for your own, then you can fully control. And I did some experimentation for myself where I put my own money. Yes, I can do. But somehow, the smaller project might be easier than the big one. So the big one, you know, right? So it's dependent on many different departments, financial, sales, marketing, and things. And then from idea, concept, until complete, we don't see ourselves. But if the smaller project, let people involve, and then only husband and wife, or maybe some children, might be easier to control. So I would say depends on the project scale. Yeah.
Okay, I think someone here has been to your spa at the Naman Pure Spa. It was such an amazing, serene space. How the rest of the Naman retreat in Da Nang, is it all done by you?
So earlier I say like I did the spa and 40 villas. Also villas, also very nice at that time. And so half of it done by our company, and the other half is done by Võ Trong Nghĩa. So Nghĩa did the bamboo restaurant and reception. And then one also people, Vincent Cole from EDC. So he also a very good friend of mine. He did the interior from Võ Trong Nghĩa architecture. Yeah. Yeah.
This one might be a bit more technical or nature based. There are many any related issues with the wildlife, because I think you have planted like a lot of plants or something like this, such as snake from the landscape area. How do you face it as it happened? Has it happened before, or do you have any experience on that?
So you bring the nature to human space, living space. So the nature, not only plant and water, right? So that's how you have to live together. But if you do it in a psychological way, I would say it's a harmony. It is fine. So you know, in a practical way, so we all have alternative, open and close. So in daytime, your good friend, and the nighttime, we are not their good friend. So then we close the door and we had a different mood for of the nighttime. So it could be good to have the alternative for living with nature. Yeah.
Okay, so we need to live with nature. This one is about, are there any particular projects that has taught you, where there's lessons that now you have applied to every projects that you are doing on now? Whether it's design, whether it's technical?
Well, I might understand your question,
Okay.
right? Like, for Ho Chi Minh City, it's very big city and very dense. So lack of open space. So then when we design for our project, we ask, can we do smaller footprint and have the bigger open space? So Ho Chi Minh City, the land is extremely expensive. If you talk about CBD in the, I don't know here, just say something. In CBD of Ho Chi Minh City, the main street, 1 square meter, it can be cost $50,000. 55 euro US dollar per square meter, and extremely expensive. And the further you go out, of course, more cheaper the land is. But somehow it's still very expensive to live in the city. So every people fighting for the square meters. And it's too luxury to say, I want to give back for the open space. So that's why it's the context. It's very critical. And we as an architect, we need to see the problem and with our solution, and to enhance, to improve the quality of human life. It's first of all, we need to keep the balance between concrete and nature. Yeah.
Wow, good answer. Now, since you have been practicing for more than 20 years, and what do you think Vietnamese architecture has changed since you have been practicing?
I see, for so far, I think same as your country, maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ahead, I don't know. But for Vietnam today, we see architects has more opportunity to practice. So once you have more opportunities so to practice, so everyone, as an architect, if you have practice, then you improve your skill, right? So that's the natural way for everywhere, I think.
So the architecture level, the skill set has improved in
yes.
Vietnam. So maybe this might lead from the first question, like because there are like a lot of progress since the last 20 years. Then do you think Vietnam has its own architectural identity, or is it increasingly become more globalized?
Well, it's hardly to define where is the Vietnamese architecture identity, because we had 1,000 years colonial by China, and then 100 years by French, and then another 30 years by American. So every step we had like our architecture history. If you come to Ho Chi Minh City, it's like a library where you have the old books and the new books. And what you see also very interesting in that way. So that's become like what we call what is strongest architecture influence is Indochine period. Indochine period, Indochina area, colonial by French people, and then they bring the French architecture. Somehow they transform into tropical version. So where they have very thick wall, and then the transition, the space, they had the big canopy, so 2 layers of wall and big corridor in between. So then I found it very interesting for that. And beside that, we see a lot of pagoda. It's also influenced to Chinese, where it's longer time for the architecture. So hardly to define. If you see the Japanese architecture, immediately you click, right? And Thai architecture or Indian architecture. But in Vietnam, you need to see the layers, throughout the history.
Stack of old books stacking together.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we have seen, like in all your projects, there are a lot of greens, whether it's a planter box, rooftop, etc. So we were wondering, like some of the questions is about the maintenance of the landscape. How do you maintain it in terms of scheduling it, or what type of plants do you choose? Like you mentioned, a bit of local species, etc.
For maintenance, with nowadays technology, we have irrigation system automation. So I think it's not a question, right? So not only watering, so also fertilizing. You mix with the irrigation system. So where you have a schedule for that one, and then on top of it, you need to choose the proper plant and tree. As that is landscape architect, not mine. So where the suitable for inside, semi-outdoor, and outdoor, and indoor sometime, and it's good to have to define the certain schedule for maintenance. So mainly they come like once a week or 2 weeks, depending on the project. Yeah, they cut.
Maybe we'll do like 1 or 2 more last questions, then we will wrap it up. Okay, so the second last question, it's have the limitations of local construction technology ever led you towards an unexpected design solutions? Whether it's the on-site, the laborers, sometimes they execute the design.
I think basically we talk about concrete structure to build the planter box, as everybody do. Yeah, and then you need to taking into account, depending on where you design plant or tree, then you have certain thickness of planter box, either 1.4 meters soil thick or only 60. Yeah, and then where you have vertical layers, thick and small, and the layers of sand, verticals for drainage, and then the soil not too compact, because otherwise cannot drain for a certain time, and then the root of the tree will be poisoned, and the tree is dying. So that kind of technique, you divide it small, a planter box, thick and thin, and then you build it from there. And second consideration is about waterproofing. Throughout the time, so the tree very smart, so naturally grows. So when you plant it on the roof, and then the tree start to looking for where is the water. So the root will come to the water, the place. But the water is the drainage pipe. So sometime for certain year, if you don't know how to do it, so the pipe, the drainage pipe, full of root, and then uproot, and then it's entire drainage stuff. Yeah, so we need to have the proper design, but I don't think it's going to be difficult.
Thank you. I think maybe the last question now. You want the hard one or the easy question here? I do. Okay.
I say what I can.
Okay. Maybe we'll go for the tougher one. Okay. What do you think Vietnamese cities, or maybe Malaysia, most urgently need the architects to address in this like in Vietnam or in Malaysia? What do you think the architects need to address urgently? Whether it's density or based on how do you solve it with your architecture?
I don't know.
It's a difficult one. It's taking a while.
I know Vietnam.
Okay.
So if you look at a sustainable way, so urban planners had to have the proper master plan, first of all. And then the question for next is how to control the master plan when it's experimentation, to have like if you promise setback, density, building height, you need to follow. Otherwise, today you draw as a beautiful park, and tomorrow by big developer influence, and you change, become the high rise. So that is to happen in Vietnam for long time. Today, I don't know, but that's how it's happened. And then, because it's this piece of land, it's in the very central, very expensive. So how could we keep it as a greensway? It's too valuable and functional. You need it, but as an architect, we also see it's an open space, also very expensive too, for the quality of life of the human. And we talk about in the long run, sustainable ways. So how to keep for future generation. So that we also struggling ourselves, and somehow we say our voice by this way. Yeah.
Okay. We will throw in one bonus question for you guys. This one is easy, don't worry. Does luck, being in the right place at the right time and crossing path with the right people, play a significant role in an architect or your success so far? Does luck play a role in your career? Simple way of question. Yeah. Does luck, like good luck, luck plays help your career as an architect?
I don't understand.
Yeah, I'll Google translate it.
How to make it easy question. Sorry, my English.
Hey, no problem, no problem.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yes. Luck for an architect means you meet the right client in the right time, in the right context, where your emotion and creativity start. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Okay, maybe a round of applause for Architect Man here.
Thank you. Thank you.